Sabbat Chronicle, set in New Orleans in the 1960s. Just as a disclaimer, we're not playing good people since we're the Sabbat. So, parental discretion is advised. If this offends you, then just go to get a cup of tea or just skip the episode if we don't want you here. That out the way, take us away, storyteller.
We appreciate you listening. We do, truly. But also, she's very much correct. There are sensitive topics with these. With our episode tonight, we pick up on the opening of Elysium. Our group is enjoying the Carousel Lounge at the Hotel Monteleone in downtown New Orleans with all its glory, having recently met and been formally introduced to the Prince Marcel Gibault, as well as a hefty number of Primogen within the city themselves. Gibault has finished his introductory conversation, more like directives, for everyone to peacefully get along in the city together. He will be mingling with the group here shortly to better gauge their individual characteristics. Uh, with that being said, I believe Hank broke off to the side with Josephine for some polite, quieter conversation, and they seem to be rather engaged on a topic at the moment. Jules, Frank, Peter, and Dr. Isaacs. The prince has concluded his first primary greeting for you and given you a bit of space to kind of collect yourselves before he goes around, and it's very obvious. He's returned to his conversation with the gangrel Primogen, it seems to be, Martine, at his side, and it looks to be going a little bit more heated than it was before. She was very animated in the conversation when most of you arrived, and he was kind of partially invested. At this point, he is wholly invested in the conversation, and it doesn't seem to be going in a way that she's particularly happy with.
That's
You can see
the
that
Prince
she's
and Martine, sorry, yeah?
correct.
Sorry, thank you.
Horace is still standing near them, but his gaze is still kind of lingering over the lounge in general. With the engagement of Elysium, soft jazz has begun to flood the lounge. It's not overpowering, but it adds enough ambiance that private conversations can feel more private, even if they may not necessarily be so. For our group, sans Hank for the moment, how are each of you handling having just spoken with the prince? Start with Jules.
I think Jules is handling it pretty well. I like to imagine she's just kind of chilling a little bit, trying to figure out how he's gonna judge her behavior. So she's probably making polite conversation with Gabriella if she's around, or just chit-chatting with whoever's beside her, if one of the packmates are there.
I imagine the others are very much close by.
I'm definitely next to you.
Yeah. Gabriella is at the bar behind you, so if you haven't moved back over to it yet, she's probably not in conversation with you, but she's very much open and definitely willing to re-engage and start another conversation if you do move over to her.
Sure, Jules will move over to her and then say, well, I think that went well.
I think you did wonderfully. In fact, I think each of you did very well. I am a little surprised with how direct, well, I guess it's in his name, Frank is. But
she'll give a polite giggle at the pun.
It's sometimes a good thing to be just direct.
Very much so. I have a question. How is he gonna judge my character?
Well, he's got a discerning eye for reading people. He'll pick up on some of your mannerisms through conversation and how you hold yourself.
I see.
And she gives you a polite smile. You could tell she might want to tell you a little bit more, but maybe this isn't the right place or time to say it type of situation.
Right in the middle of Elysium where the prince can't hear, so you know.
Yeah. So it's very much one of those. He's gonna read you like a book.
Oh,
Smiles.
yay.
Like, I have so much I could tell you, but I can't tell you here. Like,
Maybe Tuesday night.
maybe Tuesday.
Yeah, maybe Tuesday.
I'll break out a nice bottle of wine and we'll have a long conversation.
Oh, excellent. I look forward to it, as I said again. In your opinion, who should I mingle with first?
I think you've already picked one of the best ones. So she smiles at you. And then she's gonna look over the group. Well, truthfully, Martine's resourceful. Josephine is an iron fist within the city. She's got a wrangle on most of the club life. She's not a bad one to speak with at all. We occasionally bump heads when it comes to work, but we work together well also. Horace is a bit of a unique case. He's good for advice, but sometimes his advice is a little bit cryptic. It's never necessarily wrong. It just might not necessarily be what you're looking for.
Oh, so it's good advice, but it just doesn't make sense right off the bat.
Correct. Sometimes it makes sense after what happens, and then you're like, oh, it's kind of obvious. That's unfortunate.
I see.
Martin, Mr. Meeks, I don't want it known. If you don't want it known, don't even think it. Pretty much.
I see.
We wrangle people. Like, she motions to herself, and she kind of like does a general gesture to Josephine and the prince. Like, we're the kind that like holds an Elysium or holds a ball or a gala or an event, right?
Mm-hmm.
Martin knows everything that happens within the city. He doesn't need to hold an event. He can tell you who's holding an event tonight. Every single one of them. He can tell you who to talk to get into each and every one of them. And he can also tell you who is and isn't on the list for each. He's that kind of man.
I see.
Don't let his looks deter you from his strengths. Although I am particularly irritated with him at the moment. Augustine is a odd duck. I'm not exactly sure what he wants. And the fact that he showed up tonight is a little odd in and of itself. And she's looking at the gentleman. I'm not quite sure you would mark him as a harbinger of the skull, but you do mark him as the one that has that very, as Frank had put it, similar to the gardener appearance, with how his face is stretched taut and so porcelain pale.
I see.
I don't know how to advise you on him. Powerful, be respectful, of course, not that you wouldn't. But I don't know what benefit he would give you. I think you would be more of a benefit to him, and that's a concern.
I see.
They've got their own agenda. Let's just say I'm more put out with him than I am with Mr. Meeks at the moment, but Mr. Meeks is part of the issue I had. I was supposed to be the name on the new art wing, and guess who got it from under me?
Oh no. Martine?
Yes. No, Augustine.
Oh.
Augustine, yeah.
Oh, I see.
I mean, what can you even do with that? You can't even, like, you can't even put a painting of him up in it. Like, come on.
It would have to be like free form, right?
Yes, okay, fair. Maybe a more modern interpretation.
True. Okay. I thank you. But like just between us girls, who would you recommend?
Well, if you're going for a power play, probably the prince, right? Like she's whispering with you back and forth at this point.
I figured that we were whispering this whole time.
You're probably off in like one of the corners with your drinks, just whispering a little bit. Yes. Probably the prince if you want to power play. Myself or Josephine if you want to try and get a handle on the culture here in the city. I do recognize your surname, so any of the three of us, really.
I see. Well, aren't I lucky that like I talked to you first?
Of course. Beautiful thing like yourself? How could I not talk to you first?
Oh, stop. You're beautiful.
Thank you. And the gentlemen with you aren't bad looking either, but...
Oh, can I interest you in one? I think they're all single.
Really?
Yeah.
We'll see how things go. If they're promising, maybe.
What about Peter Tong? He's right up there. Show motion with her head. She doesn't want to point.
You literally point out the one that's not in a suit. Even the doctor's in like a business suit.
You pointed out Shit Dog. I thought you liked the woman. What about Shit Dog? He's an old Mongol, but you know, scrubs up alright.
Does have a little bit of a rugged look about him.
Yes, very rugged.
Yeah, maybe a diamond in the rough.
He could use. He just needs a woman's hand, you know. I mean, unlike Hank.
Oh, and a couple of baths, probably.
Probably, but hey, that makes it fun, right?
I do enjoy a good bit of work paying off.
Then there's Hank, and she'll motion with her head towards Hank.
Also, I want to point out, you pointed out the one with the drawback of ugly written on his sheet.
Oh, okay. Well, shit, that's just me not knowing, okay? Like, out of character, but it's fine.
I got you.
Got that Steve Wood, Riz. It would be funny. But now she's motioning about Hank. See, and he's also in a right suit.
He is in a very nice suit. You're right.
Oh god, the gifts. Okay, I need to close that before so I can roleplay. There we go. Okay.
You're right. He is in a very nice suit. I can tell that Taylor from over here. Okay, well, look, we'll give you a little bit of a break, okay?
Okay. Okay.
All right. Hank, we'll jump over to you really quick in your conversation with Josephine. So she's just expressed interest in who you think you would like to maybe communicate with on your recently discussed approach.
Is the sheriff in here?
The
tonight?
sheriff is guarding the door. He's got his back
That's
to
the
the
sheriff,
door.
is it?
Yes.
I mean, if you could introduce maybe Frank and myself to the sheriff, if we can start to get an idea of people who are coming into the city, and maybe help bring those new people into the city and to the right people. And of course, if there's one or two that we want to keep for ourselves, then we can.
Oh no, I can work something with that. He probably won't want to be introduced tonight since
Okay.
he's having to keep an eye on the security.
No worries. What's his name?
Just make sure I didn't drop that last session.
Jeff.
I don't think you did.
I think
Jeff
you
the
did.
sheriff.
Jeff.
I think it wasn't directed at us. I think you opened the door and you called him by name.
That's what I thought.
Jeff.
Jeff. My name is Jeff. I think it was Etienne.
That sounds right.
I want to say it was Etienne. I will double check, but I want to say it's Etienne.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I think that might be Frank and I's best way in. Other than that, I don't really know who I want to talk to. I do want to stay away from the Toreador lady, who was very chatty with Jules tonight. As per your instruction.
After tonight, she's not as much of a concern. I just wanted to make sure I presented you first, but do be cautious, of course. We've discussed how most of this works here, so I know you understand. I will set up something for you and Frank and likely the others to speak with Etienne about.
Cool, appreciate that. I think that might be a good way in.
I agree. Maybe the prince will also get your group to speak with him a bit, since he's put you on the trail of those missing within the city.
Yeah, we could do both, couldn't we? Do working for the sheriff, that would work. Cool.
There any other questions you might have for me?
Not tonight. I think I've taken up enough of your time.
No, tonight is about you and about the others, so.
I appreciate that, but there'll be things that you want to do, I've no doubt. So I won't take up any more of your time tonight.
Well, if you'll excuse me then, I'm going to go interject myself into that conversation with Martine and see if I can assist. Because she's noticing the look on Martine's face. Not Martin, but Martine. Sorry. Yeah. And she will excuse herself from your side.
No problem.
Frank, I think that leaves you, Peter, and Dr. Isaacs together.
Well, I shall be abandoning them immediately and walking directly towards the prince.
Okay.
If anyone wants to stop me, we can feel free to try and do that. But I'm not making it. I'm not hiding the fact that I'm walking directly towards the prince.
That'd be a dick.
No.
Okay. Well, I'm going to walk towards the prince then.
There we go.
Go for it.
I'm busy. I'm tied up. Otherwise, I would. But there you go.
That's fine.
Jules is
your head be it.
Jules is busy with Gabriella, so she doesn't notice you.
Gossiping, like you're glancing around the room and all of a sudden you see Frank just like power marching towards the prince, his usual pace.
Well, let's see how this goes. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it works out for him.
I love it. Dr. Isaacs is just sitting there smiling.
0 fucks are given.
Okay.
I'm already fucked. We might as well all be.
Oh my mind. Anyway, each of you see Frank in his bold posture and wide step just move directly up to the prince and Martine as they're in conversation, and it pauses as you get closer, and he turns his attention to you.
So I'm going to stop. Like, I don't want to be right on top of him. Like, whatever range he's at conversation with Martine, I'll stop like maybe a step or two back, but make it really obvious that I'm looking at him and I'm waiting for him to finish whatever he's doing so I can get his attention.
Okay.
Like, I'm not fucking around. I'm just like, Frank wants to talk to him.
You're present, but you're not breaking the conversation.
Yeah.
Okay. He will give you a polite smile. Just a moment. Let me finish this topic, and I'll be right with you.
I'll do the upwards head nod.
And he won't shy away from continuing the topic. You can hear it. Josephine's already hearing it. So everybody who would like to try and catch the current topic that's happening between him and the gangrel Primogen, so the prince and the gangrel Primogen, give me wits awareness. You can put the difficulty. Yes, everyone may. We're gonna put the difficulty at 1. If you manage it, I will let you know.
Oh, that's what I haven't done.
Get aroused. Blood. You said, what was it?
We're just gonna wits awareness at a difficulty 1. So whenever I tell you difficulty 1, I'm hiding the actual difficulty and just seeing how many successes you get.
Okay.
And then those of you that succeed, I will let you know.
There's about 1.
5.
And you said difficulty 1. Let me put that down to 1.
All of you are so perceptive this evening.
Ow.
Okay. Jules, it makes a little bit of sense that you're a little bit distracted. So it was everyone with 3 or greater. You catch that Martine and the prince are discussing the integrity of the levees currently, and that they need to be reinforced, and some of them need to essentially be rebuilt after this past several years of storms rolling through. Martine is particularly worried about some of the lower wards. And the prince is agreeing with her, but he's also stating that currently, with all of the issues in the city going on, resources are too tapped to dedicate anyone to just that work at the moment. There are too many going missing. He's having to handle that. It's going to be not just a fiasco for all of the kindred, it's going to be a fiasco for all of the kind, as well as most of the city, if it doesn't get resolved ahead of time. And she's stating adamantly that it's going to be an even worse situation with the upcoming storm season if the levees aren't focused on right now, and at least something is done, or some plan is put in place to alleviate, if something does happen with them, that the city itself could face much worse than just some missing individuals.
Jules will try to be playing off like she's like not hearing it while talking, but kind of smile a little bit. Maybe at the appropriate time, Gabriella's like telling a joke or something clever to make she's smiling about it.
Any of you paying particular attention to it? So I would say, if it interests you further, because it seems like a pretty mundane but heated topic on the surface, if it interests you further, give me an wits insight to read the prince and Martine.
I am paying attention because only because she said about building something,
Yes.
and that might be in my wheelhouse. So, or is it insight and wits? Did you say?
Correct. Insight and wits.
Oh, Pete Dog.
Oh.
Never mind.
Well, no.
Okay.
3.
Peter, your attention is caught by the focus on the missing individuals and much less the heated conversation involving the levies. You're catching the bit about how the prince is saying most of his resources are currently tapped, trying to resolve that in the city.
The squirrel.
I mean, it's your earlier line of conversation, and that's what's standing out to you about this most.
Somebody brought a ball into the room. Yeah.
Well, it is the
Somebody
Carousel
brought a tennis
Lounge.
ball in, and you're like, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Is you gonna throw it?
Frank, the possibility of building or rebuilding definitely catches your attention, but your thought process goes more into how you could undertake such a large project like that, how long it would take. Your newfound capacity, you could probably do a lot of work, you think, but you don't know, depending on where and how many areas need to be repaired, you don't know if that's a project you yourself could finish alone in time. You do know that the storm season is rolling up pretty soon. That being said, Hank. Oh, go ahead, Frank.
Posty, I have a question.
Yes.
In the previous, or not the previous session, but the session before that, I had a vision about moving through the city, and I think it was raining, right?
Correct. It was storming severely.
Yeah. Okay. I'm probably going to clear my throat then.
Okay. Just before you do, let me get Hank his insight. Hank.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell that the prince is growing frustrated with the topic. He wants to address both problems, and though he is holding his expression very well, there's a very small tick to the corner of his mouth as he's speaking, and you can tell that the southern drawl is becoming a little bit more clipped.
Okay.
Martine herself is also particularly irritated at this moment, and you think that her concern is very genuine. You also catch that it sounds almost like a threat at first when she says the city could suffer a lot more loss. When she mentions a severe storm coming through, if one of the areas floods, and you take it to mean not necessarily a threat, but that she's reminding him that there are certain places that would fall victim to the
Right.
flooding where kindred usually probably have as a haven or go to rest.
Okay.
And that is the really big point that you take away from that. Unfortunately, the others do not catch it.
No worries.
Prince Gibault nods his head to Martine. We will speak of this later. We're going to have new faces on the other problem. We will have more resources to assist you. And she politely, but with irritation, gets up and makes her way over to the actual carousel bar in the center and takes a seat and gets herself a drink. He's going to turn his attention to you, Frank. Yes.
Right, Chief. She ain't wrong, by the way. I saw a picture in my head last night about the rains coming. It's not what I want to talk to you about, though.
Well, that might be something I want to hear. So let's hear what you want to talk about first.
this ain't my scene. So, and I don't, you know, I'm new and I don't really understand how this works. So I was wondering if you could tell me what's the minimum number of people I have to talk to before I can get gone.
Okay. I will. I'll give you a little bit of guidance there then, since you're being upfront with me. Usually in this kind of scene, you kind of have to wait around until, if I say I'm going to speak with you, I've made my way over to you. That's usually how it works. It's kind of like a pecking order.
Yeah.
However you want to imagine that order, if it's military, if it's government, whatever fits for you, if it's, you get what I'm saying, right?
I've served, if
There
that
you
helps.
go. Think of it like a naval ball or an army ball. Your commanders are there. They say they want to talk to you. You grab a drink until they come talk to you. If they seem like they're done with you, then you can vamos.
Okay. I don't know who. I don't want to waste your time because I appreciate you got lots of stuff to do tonight.
Mhm.
I don't know who is important here. I get you are. I don't know who are the officers here that I need to wait to see, if you understand.
The Primogen would be the officers typically.
Okay.
And if you have any business with one of them, or you've heard they might have business with you, typically they'll let you know before Elysium. They won't usually ambush you here with it. So you'll know who you need to talk to.
Okay. Understood.
He's actually going to reach out and put his left hand on your shoulder, and it's a surprisingly firm but oddly comforting grip. There's a little bit of warmth in his palm, and you imagine he's probably under blush of life right now. And he's gonna look you in the eye. I appreciate that you came to talk to me.
I
I'm
didn't
the
even.
only person that you need to talk to tonight. He's gonna remove his hand. So once we finish our conversation, you have my permission to go, or you can mingle as you see fit and leave when you're comfortable.
Nods.
That being said, I want to hear about this vision you had.
Oh. I'm not sure. I sometimes see things in my head since the change.
Like more than before, or in a different way than before? Because I know some people.
I ain't never had this before.
Okay.
This is new to me, and it's not nice sometimes. But when I saw it before, I think it was earlier tonight. I can't really remember. My head's a bit messed up.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it was earlier tonight. I had a picture in my head about running through the streets and there being rain, a lot of rain. It was a big storm.
Right.
And I was down by the river.
And when you had this, how did you have any like sensation of?
Yeah, like I was
you
being
feel
chased.
something? Like you were being chased? Like you? Okay. Were you worried? Were you assured? Like you were just trying to get somewhere, or?
Out of character, Toasty, I can't quite remember. In my memory, I
You were
was being.
trying to get somewhere. You
Okay.
knew you had a destination you had to get to, and you were trying to run towards like the waterfront, which now that you're thinking about it is very, very odd in a storm like that,
Mm-hmm.
because you know how much it would probably rise. But that was the direction you were running. You knew you had people around you, but there was no one, absolutely no one outside on the sidewalk or in the streets.
Yeah. I shall regale. I will tell him everything that I can remember.
Mm-hmm. You weren't necessarily panicked, but you felt a sense of urgency.
Yeah.
Okay. And he seems to take it into consideration. Thank you for that.
She wants to do something about building stuff, right? I can build stuff.
You have experience welding and with construction?
Oh yeah. Well, welding is my thing. I used to work in a factory, welding,
Mm.
metalwork. Metal is the thing that I'm good with. I can do other stuff as well, but
I'll see what I can do with you then. I might put you to work with Martine to assist her. She's got a point. We need to make things safer where we can. Let me set you up with a meeting with her in the coming nights. That being said, what you have experienced, Horus, our Malkavian Primogen, that sounds like something he might be able to help you with. So I will get you a meeting with him as well, unless you want to stay here this evening and talk to him.
you're the boss.
No, I'm letting you know that I'm not forcing you to stay. This is your choice to mingle or your choice to go, and it's not going to be held against you by me.
I mean, I don't want to stay here any longer than I need to because this isn't my scene. But if this is important, I'm a soldier. I'll follow orders.
Let me get something set up with Martine. I would recommend that you speak with Horus, if for no other reason than share with him what you saw, and maybe he can give you some better insight on it.
Gotcha.
And he will excuse himself unless you have any further questions, which he
No.
will obviously take a pause and wait.
No,
And when
no,
you seem
no
like
further
you're done.
questions. And like Frank's Frank's direct. He isn't messing around, and he doesn't want to take any more of the prince's time than he absolutely has to. So it's kind of everything is on the surface, and like there's no politics with Frank. He just says what he thinks.
Right. And he seems to be appreciative of that. He's not taking you as belligerent or anything. He understands the type that you are.
Mhm.
He understands you're being direct with him, so he's being direct with you in return. And he also seems very genuine in the fact that next time, let me come to you if I say I'm going to talk to you.
Yeah,
But he's not bothered with that.
Yeah.
This time, he understands that you're just getting the lay of the land. And he will excuse himself. The rest of you see the prince hold a fairly animated conversation with your coterie member. Place a hand on his shoulder. Retrieve it after a few moments. And it's a fairly quick conversation overall. He steps away after motioning to Horus, and he's going to avoid Martine at the bar with her drink, and he's going to move over to Dr. Isaacs.
Instantly toasty. Once that conversation's finished, I'll walk over to where Hank is and join him.
Okay. So he's probably just wrapping up his conversation with Josephine. And Hank, you and Josephine have seen Frank and the prince speaking.
Okay, cool.
While you're holding your own conversation. It seemed to have gone well. Neither of them look irritated or worse for wear. All right, Dr. Isaacs.
As he's walking over, I'm gonna stumble over some words and then just bow.
He's gonna clear his throat so you know to stand. And motion for you to take a seat at the bar that is slowly spinning in the center of the room. He will sit
Um,
beside you.
I'm gonna wait for it to spin to an area where I'm not directly next to Valentine.
Okay. I imagine you wait for one of the more open spaces. A few of the people here have taken seats.
Yes.
And he will sit beside you, and he will wave away a drink, but motion for you to go ahead if you want. So you're a doctor.
Yes, I am.
I imagine that's difficult to reconcile with your new proclivities.
It is. It has taken some getting used to.
I noticed that earlier tonight, you and our Tremere Primogen were having a rather long conversation.
Yes. We've met prior to tonight. Uh, I graduated from Tulane, and he, you know, and I
Yes.
went to visit the library one night after I got back, and after the turn, after the change, and went to visit and stepped into his territory, and so
An innocent enough mistake that sometimes happens. It's not entirely your own fault. You've been put in a city without any real guidance.
yeah.
Do you continue to practice or try to?
Well, my specialty was toxicology, so I don't really see patients. It's more of helping figure out what's wrong with a case, looking at the data.
Mm. So if I bring an interesting case to you, you would be able to look into it for me.
Yes, I would say so.
A well-learned mind is a good asset to have. If you stay in the city, what are your intentions? What do you want to do?
To be completely honest, I'm not sure anymore. I was working at the Caldwell Center, and kind of going back and forth between there and Tulane, but now I don't really know how viable those career paths are.
Well, if you had the choice.
I do like the city. I probably would say yes. I really just, I'm sorry, I do not know what I would be doing.
That's unfortunate. I was going to use that as a bit of a guide point to try and place you. I imagine since you admitted that you're having difficulties reconciling probably new methods of various things that you're experiencing at this point, I shouldn't place you with some of our more direct individuals.
That would be appreciated.
Hmm. I'm going to have you work with Mr. Tong on an additional interest I have. Given your toxicology background, it's going to be easy to get you to work with the police department. You'll probably become a medical resource for them in the interim. And then we can revisit your intentions with the city.
Okay. Sounds like a good plan.
He has let me know that there's going to be a new task force moving in. I want to know information about it. And I specifically want to know information on any bodies they may bring you to look at.
All right.
That being said, since you seem to know Mr. Lejeune, I will probably have you work with him a little bit. Inquiring minds working together can lead to beneficial things. Try not to blow up half the city.
How would I blow up half the city?
He gives you a stern look.
I'm gonna give him a confused look back.
Right. Well, if he offers for you to participate in an experiment, let me know what the experiment is. That's my other request.
Yes, sir.
I promise you most of them will be sanctioned. And he gives you a pat on the shoulder.
Give him a slight worried glance for a moment before just nodding.
Do you have any questions for me before I excuse myself, Dr. Isaacs?
Maybe I shouldn't say, but you value honesty, yes?
Yes.
Well, I've already kind of mentioned it to Mr. Lejeune, but some of the abilities that I've awoken to are a bit strange.
How so?
I can mend flesh
You can mend flesh?
and manipulate it.
Hmm. There's a few responses that go across his face very, very quickly. Give me insight wits out of 3.
Um, I'm gonna. I can spend a willpower, right?
Yes.
And that lets me reroll 4 of those?
3.
3.
3.
So 2 more successes.
You you notice that there is a look of realization which is very quickly hidden in a schooled, like, cool demeanor. He simply nods. But there's also a look in his eyes, not necessarily of disgust, probably a bit of curiosity, but he's looking more at you as less, not necessarily less of a person, but more of an interest. He's still seeing you as a person, but you are certainly now a point of interest. and you don't know if that's particularly a good thing. On second thought, I think I won't be pairing you with Mr. Leisure.
Okay.
In fact, I would like for you to attempt to make your contact minimal. And don't particularly share that with too many people.
I won't. I got the feeling after I shared it with him that I shouldn't, but
you did.
you're the most powerful man in the city.
You are correct. Which is why I am recommending these things to you right now. Because you've been honest with me.
I do have one small question. One moderate question, I guess. So that night at the library where I met Mr. Lejeune, he said I owed him a moderate boon. Do you have any idea what that would mean?
He motions one of the bartenders over and just taps next to him. After a few moments, there is a clear drink with a lemon wedge placed down next to him, and he takes a sip out of it before he answers you. Well, moderate is how honestly quite nice given the information they know now, apparently. Moderate would be determined by the person requesting it. It's not as severe as a greater or life boon, but it's still something that could probably put you out of it.
Okay.
There are varying degrees for each of these. Like a minor would be something trivial, like a small amount of information. A moderate would be something you have to go through decent lengths or maybe some personal discomfort to find or finish. And they can trade it. Pardon me. Boons can be traded. So he has you owing him. And if he wants to exchange that with someone else, he can make you owe someone else instead. So, like, he trades off the boon that you owe him to someone else for something he wants from them, and then you owe that person. And then they get the moderate out of you instead.
Okay.
If he asks you for a body part, that's not a moderate boon. Unless it's maybe a finger. Or a toe.
Okay.
Is Dr. Isaacs looking like progressively more worried?
No, this is kind of like he never said it. If he asked me for my toe or finger, just for a body part.
The person would clarify. Trust me, you owe a Tremere, he will clarify. He will be very specific.
Okay. I have no further questions then.
You certain?
Would it be wise to speak with Mr. Meeks about the investigation into the missing people?
Yes. He is our intelligence network, so yes. But if you ask something of him, it will probably involve a favor.
Duly noted.
That is how the city works. It is our currency. We live long enough that actual currency has very little meaning.
Not along.
Dr. Isaacs. The Elysium is for us to have civil and polite and semi-private conversations. Next time, we will discuss a bit further, but we will be truly in private. I
Yes.
will be speaking with you again,
All right.
probably within the week.
Yes, sir.
He's gonna pick up his drink and not necessarily excuse himself, but in the conversation there.
I'm gonna get a whiskey.
All right. The bartender will make your order.
Run out of alcohol.
No, he's a little bit more showy with your drink than he was with the prince's, and you can tell sitting there watching, though the prince didn't specifically ask for a particular drink, he was made a drink with gin and tonic. Just something straight and plain.
Oh, and I'm gonna babysit this drink until I see my friends start to leave.
The sheer explosion of gifts that have happened in the last 5 or 10 minutes.
Oh, I noticed. I
Has
saw.
been absolutely awe-inspiring.
It's amazing.
Gotta love a gif.
All right, and we will take a small pause there and pick up with the rest of our coterie being spoken to.
want to really. Perhaps fabricating evidence or removing evidence, or giving us a early warning system into what direction we need to move in or hide, if that makes sense.
I see you already have a good head on your shoulders for what I was going to ask. My interest doesn't necessarily lie within fabricating anything at this time, but I do need to know the names of the individuals on that, particularly those heading it
Yeah,
and
I've
where
got
they
that. I
came
can
from.
supply that.
So if they came from the Federal Bureau, that's something I need to know about.
Yeah, they're definitely from the feds. I've got the paperwork. I can get a copy across to you. Have you got like a liaison I need to speak to, or do you want me to speak to you directly?
I would prefer to keep this business between us and potentially my sheriff for the time being. Depending on
Right.
what you find, I may bring in others. But I'm not going to overly complicate your life right now. I'm going to let you do your business as apparently you know it. Though I may get a transfer of venue for your Dr. Isaacs to become a reference for the morgue and toxicology reports.
Okay.
That way you have a friendly face there with you.
Well, say friendly face. I don't really know him, but okay.
Well, it's a coterie face.
Okay. Well, if he's going to be useful, then it's going to be useful.
He just kind of shrugs. Depends on what you find and how you find missing people. But it would be better to have someone you know can control the reports in that aspect as well, in case this turns out to be something that we don't want others to know about.
Yeah. No, I get you. I get you. But yeah, I mean, use me however you need to. If you direct me to whatever you need, investigatively wise. I mean, that's pretty much my strong suit. So we can go down that route and go from there.
Do you know if they've already begun?
The task force has been put together.
Yes.
I think I'm not sure if the heads are in the city yet or not, but it's certainly been allocated. They've turned over the local precinct into a investigation hub with some makeshift desks and stations. So I'm presuming that things have begun, but we can certainly look more into that.
In addition to their work within the city, they're not going to let this lie. They're going to look at outlying areas around us and need to know where they're looking, where they're poking.
Yeah.
Because some of the people who call this city home don't necessarily have a home inside it specifically.
No. Go in.
Some of them live on the outskirts in the bayou and a few local areas.
Yeah, I haven't really had much to do with the outlying areas, but I can certainly look into that.
That's fine, I just need to know their reach.
Yeah, no worries. I'll look into it.
Be careful about it too, though.
Well, of course.
I'm not doubting that you'll be cautious in general, but there might be something else here at play, and I just want you to take a little extra care.
Appreciate that.
It's not a danger just to you, it's a danger to our kind.
Of course.
So I will put you in contact with Martine. Is there anyone else you would like to have a contact with?
Can't think of anything at the moment. Pretty direct with what I need to do. If I need to build any more contacts, then we can deal with that as on a need case basis.
Elysium. Sorry, I didn't mean to speak over you.
No.
Elysium is not held as often currently as it was prior. It may be a bit difficult for you to have an opportunity like this for a while.
I can find out who I need to speak to.
Okay.
I can certainly, if you put me in touch with Martine, then we can go from there.
He nods.
Sure, she has fingers in lots of pies.
Certainly knows how to get messages where they need to go. Might not be the most direct, but she can get them there. He will give you the opening for polite conversation and see if you have any questions for him.
No, not really. I'm pretty groovy with how the conversation's gone so far.
In that case, he's going to break off and politely interrupt the conversation between Julia and Gabriella.
Oh, hi, Prince.
Good evening, Julia.
This is
And
a
Gabriella. She's going to very politely smile, give you like a squeeze on the shoulder, and excuse herself. She's reading the room quickly.
this is a very lovely party. So yeah.
It will do. It is. I couldn't call it a party if I wanted to, but I appreciate your flattery.
You're very welcome. Do you throw better parties than this?
Yes. Oh, yes. Historically, some of them have been quite large affairs.
I see. When's the last time you threw one of these parties?
Close to the new year for this year.
Oh.
We haven't had a large occasion since then because the city's been enduring a little bit of a hiccup with the missing individuals I'm having you and your friends look into.
Well, get right on that as soon as possible.
He gives you a polite smile. He's gonna take a seat where Gabriella was before.
I like to think that Jules stood up or they were standing, so she'll wait for him to sit and then.
Oh, he will motion for you to go ahead and take a seat first then. And then he will follow suit. You seem a little on edge. You can relax.
Oh, okay. And she'll like visibly
He's
relax.
noticing like the tension just a little bit in like the shoulders and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And he just smiles when you do relax some. It's certainly a social affair, and I can tell you have a good head on your shoulders about social events.
Yes, I've had experience, quite a bit of experience.
You said the surname Fontenot?
Yes, sir,
Okay.
that I did.
Familiar name in the city. Has business been well recently?
Pretty well, yes.
I've been asking many of your friends the same question this evening, so I will put it to you as well. What's your interest in the city? Now that your status has changed.
She'll think it over a few moments. Well, I very much like to be able to stay in the city and live or unlive as much as I can within the city. Does it mean so much to me? I mean, you know.
Of course, but I meant more like Is there a change you want to enact? Is there some goal you find that you have now, or maybe one that's forming?
Oh, so pause for a moment and think. Well, I really like to perhaps be in charge of my family or a version of it,
Mm-hmm.
since you know how it's the 60s and you know how much women can be in charge of businesses and such.
He gives you a little bit of a smile, and he's going to set his drink down, fix you with a not necessarily a stern look, but one that you can tell he's being direct with you. Juliet, Miss Fontenot, however you would like to be addressed.
Oh, please, Jules.
Jules. It's very nice. I don't particularly care if you are a man, a woman, or if you are the colors of the rainbow. I myself was a slave. I'm quite old, despite my appearance.
I see.
I have an unpleasant history with this city, and I'm still gonna make it a place I love. And I want you to know that it doesn't matter what you are, it matters what you do. And if you work hard, and I see you work hard, you're gonna get far. You can be the head of your family. Trust me, I see it.
Oh, that's. Thank you. So take a moment, like, you know, it kind of caught her off guard.
And he just smiles. Besides, there's a lot of civil unrest lately. I think it's a lot of needed change for the time.
True. So
But
it's.
when we live as long as we do, those simple things, the things that we can't necessarily help, don't matter as much as the things that we can.
I see. Um,
Please
so
go ahead.
So you want us to check into what you told us to check into? Those missing people?
Yes. I think that you would bring a particularly unique view for it, given your family and your business.
True. I could ask around. Or will ask around.
Mm. I think that the others are going to have a very different point of view. Maybe Mr. Tong might be the only one close to what your family could do, but he's still got a different approach.
Very true.
How is Jules feeling during the conversation as it's progressing?
She's a bit more relaxed now that he's talking to her. She's treating it like her family would, how she would sit with like a rival or something like that. She's being she's feeling diplomatic, but she's still got that she is watching what she says and how
Right.
she's conducting herself.
You can tell he's very similar. That despite him trying to make you at ease and more comfortable, it seems much more of the actions of a good host rather than he is intentionally trying to prey upon you right now. But he's also not trying to tear down any of those walls he's finding.
Gotcha. So yeah, she's very much treating him like a don or a head of a rival family type of deal.
Mutual respect at
Right.
the moment.
but still guarded, going like, okay,
Yes.
I see. I see what you're
I
saying.
got my business. I see you understand that there's business there, but we're not really discussing what it is.
Yeah. So you just want this. So this is what you want, okay?
Right.
And sure, I can do that for you. Since, you're letting me live in your city, so,
Yeah.
and you're old as fuck, so,
Yeah, Jules just got to confirm several generations.
Yes. His favorite
Several.
his favorite president was Abraham Lincoln. Okay, it's fine.
Yeah, there you go. I understood that reference. He's going to interject polite conversation in the midst of all of the questions. It's not necessarily to catch you off guard, but you can tell he is trying to keep the conversation from feeling like a rushed pace. Um, so Jules,
She'll pause a moment, waiting for his question.
I saw you've gotten along well with our Gabriella.
She's a delight.
She certainly can be. I think you and I should probably have a bit more of a conversation, but I also think that you and Gabriella are a bit of a good fit. I've been trying to pair your friends with people I think would be good fits for them. I'm going to speak with Dr. Isaacs a bit further. Would you mind if I spoke with you a bit further as well?
Oh, no, not at all. It would be my pleasure. Honor.
Either.
Either one. I totally almost screwed that up. I'd be like, it'll be your pleasure to speak with me, but,
Showing the real Ventru.
yeah. No, you only thought you were true of it, true, like,
Yeah. Jules was born this way. He's gonna give you a very polite smile and nod. Keep in touch with Gabriella. She will get you far in this city.
Thank you. When would you like to speak with me?
I will send a letter to your residence and inform you of the time and the place. We may not meet within the French Quarter. It may be just outside.
I see.
But I will give you ample time to prepare.
Oh, excellent. I look forward to your letter.
Do you have any questions for me?
Not at the moment, no.
Interesting. Very well.
When he says interesting, she will raise an eyebrow a little bit, and then, like, kind of as quickly as she can, like, lower it.
Oh, I just anticipated far more questions from such new faces, unaccustomed to the evenings, than I've had so far. That's all.
Oh, well, we're just, going with the flow, so to speak. I think that's what they say. If you're familiar with the, saying.
Oh, no, I am. That reminds me, I heard some gossip.
Oh?
Did one of your coterie members jump into the Mississippi?
Oh, she'll kind of. Since she's blush of life, she will get a little red and, like, try to suppress a laugh. I'm sure everybody's turned to look when she laughs.
Is it like a nervous laugh?
No, it's just like she's just surprised and it's catching her off guard, and it's not a nervous laugh. It's just a actual humorous laugh.
Okay.
Like oh, you heard about that? I see.
He's gonna smile at you. It took a few people to get to me, but I see it was true.
Yes, yes, it is. It was Frank.
Interesting. I'm certain it was a direct solution for a direct problem.
Oh, it was.
He just kind of chuckles to himself, and he's going to pick up his drink, finish it, and push it across the bar to the bartender. Would you like anything?
No, thank you. I'll just order my own drink again. That's fine.
Very well.
It was very nice meeting you, and I look forward to being in your city more.
I look forward to our next conversation, Jules.
As do I.
Have a pleasant evening.
Do I call you Prince, or do I call you something else?
Prince is fine.
Okay. Thank you.
He nods, and he's going to get up and make his way over to Hank, who is now free.
I nearly said, you may go now, but I'm glad I did not.
It's one of those situations of where, like, he drew the conversation to a close. He knows it's at a close, but he wants to see how you handle it.
Right.
And you can tell Gabriella was very right. Like, he gave you a bunch of social cues to see how you would handle them. If you would step in and lead the conversation, how your manners were in certain situations, how you addressed an answer specifically. Maybe not necessarily the answer itself.
I see.
And you feel like you did well. I will say this, you do have a sensation, Jules specifically has a sensation that she feels like she did well.
Gotcha. I'll even look at my my path to see if I screwed anything. Oh nope, I did not fail to respect my superior, so.
Nope.
All right.
You were quite respectful. All right, Hank, where are you after breaking off from Josephine?
I guess after breaking off from Josephine, he's kind of wandered over to see what Frank's doing. He's keeping an eye on the doc, in case the doc decides to get on stage, grab a mic, and tell everyone about the thing. You know, hi, I've got a quick announcement. You know, but yeah, other than that, he's just milling around.
Give me
Hi, I've got a quick magic trick.
That's something I'd like to say to you all.
wait, the Beetlejuice scene where he turns around and it's just like the back of his head and the face opening. Yeah. Okay. Since you're paying attention and you're keeping a careful eye out for your coterie members out of personal concern, maybe for them, maybe for yourself, give me a wits awareness. I'll put it at a 3 to see how the conversation with Dr. Isaacs goes as you see the prince mingling with other people. Anyone paying particular attention to the Dr. Isaacs conversation, this would be 4.
So wits awareness.
Wits awareness out of 3.
I don't think
For
I
you?
am, to be honest with you. I'm just heading straight over to Hank.
Fair enough. You can use willpower to reroll up to 3.
Meh.
No, I've got 1 success. I think that'll do. I kind of know what he's going to be saying.
You said
from the horrified expressions of everyone around, you know.
So wits awareness out of 3.
Wits awareness out of 3. And to be fair, there's no particular horrified reactions.
Oh, a 2.
Nobody wants the willpower?
Go on. Was it 1 willpower for
For 3.
3? So if I just there's another 10 there, so that would take it up to 2, I guess.
So how do I do it on the sheet itself? Willpower reroll, dice to roll up to 3, or just 1?
Up to 3.
3. 3.
I
Or you
gotta
can do by hand if you want.
one more time. I'm sorry.
Or you can do it by hand if you want. You could
Oh.
just do 3d10 and mark off your willpower.
Oh no,
You
I'm.
could do either.
I got. I got the input value, dice to roll, and it's a 1, 2, or a 3. Since
A
I 3. Okay.
As many as you want to re-roll.
The difficulty was a 3, so
So you got 2 more, so you have 4 total.
okay. Let me. Oh.
And I believe Hill 2 10s, I believe puts you at what you need. Because they're not just single when you have 2 of them together.
Right. Yeah, so 2 of them is there.
So Jules, anybody else wants the willpower? 3, 2, no? Okay. So Hank and Jules, the 2 of you are able to kind of eavesdrop a little bit on the conversation with Dr. Isaacs and the prince as it occurs earlier in the evening. And you do see some furtive glances towards Mr. Lejeune on the other side of the Carousel bar between them. You notice an expression change on the prince's face that's quickly caught and schooled. It's very quick. Very, very quick. And it seems like an overall pleasant, albeit quick, conversation compared to most of the others. And there is a particular emphasis on something towards the end. But you don't catch words, you don't catch topic.
Okay, okay.
And I guess as
Sorry, the gifts were getting me.
yeah. I guess as he breaks away from the docket and heads to Jules,
Mm-hmm.
Hank can will relax and basically turn his attention to Frank, who's wandered over, and just check in with Frank and see how he's getting on.
Right.
What?
Fucking off.
You off, are you?
In fact, you won't say that. I'm getting out of here.
Okay, cool. I need to speak to a couple of people. I haven't spoken to the prince yet, so. But if you.
You want to wait?
Nah, I'll be alright. You know your way back. You know you can crash at mine if you haven't sorted yours out yet. Yeah, just have to make stuff out.
I'm happy to wait.
I
Are
ain't
you
gonna be
sticking
long.
around? Are you sticking around, or are you?
Probably not. I'll
wait.
update you on the conversation with Josephine, and that I'm gonna go try to talk to the sheriff at some point. It won't be tonight because he's working. But in the next evenings, go and talk to the sheriff. See what the prince says tonight. You know, I'm basically just gonna offer to help out where needed.
Okay. After I'm done here, I'll wait for you. But after I'm done here, I'm getting Big Red out and I'm going out of town.
Alright, well, in that case, don't wait for me. Because when I'm done here, I'm just going back to the club.
Okay. Well, I'll shoot now then.
Alright.
Alright, I'll see you later.
Alright. You back tonight, yeah?
Yeah.
You back before dawn, yeah? You're not going to stay out there and make
No.
a shelter or anything, no? All right. So
No,
if I
just
wake
gonna
up
go
and
and
you're
find
not
someone.
there, yeah,
I'm
okay,
gonna go and find somewhere we can work.
cool. Okay, no worries. And if Frank wanders off and there's no one else, I'll just mingle with different people from the coterie, chat to Jules, make sure because Jules is with the Prince, chat to Pete, see if Pete's okay, chat to the doc, see what the doc's up to, and then just mingle and chat with people.
How are Pete and how are the doc following their conversations?
Just sort of kicking my heels, not really doing a lot. Kind of a bit bored with
The
polite
big social.
conversation.
Well, look,
Yeah.
Frank's heading out, so I think you're all pretty good to go once you've spoken to the Prince. You want to head out with Frank, or if you just want to head out,
Yeah, come with me.
continue.
Right. Do it.
I mean, they
Keep
can all
out-
come with me you can all come with me if you want.
As I say, I haven't spoken to the Prince yet, so
Yeah, I mean, so that's what I mean. We can wait and we can all go.
no, I'm good. I've got a plan. I'm going
Okay.
back. Just go back
Fine.
to the club when I'm
Fine,
finished.
fine,
so.
fine.
Cool. I go to the dock. How's it getting, Doc?
It's
What
going.
you been up to? You have a nice chat with the Prince?
Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
nice fellow. Yeah.
Yeah. He looked momentarily horrified at one point. What have you been talking to him about?
No, he didn't look horrified. No.
Not quite horrified.
He looked a little bit off-put, a little bit shocked for a second, and then caught it.
No. We were just discussing boons and things like that. you
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
Okay. Nothing else. No.
Well, just stuff that we talked about.
Right. Okay.
Nice guy.
I've heard this. Yeah. And I will just make small talk with the doc.
Did you know a body part is not a moderate boon?
I wasn't aware that a body part wasn't a moderate boon, but it's good to know.
Depends on the body part. You hear
And
over
who-
your shoulder.
Yeah. And whose body, Yeah. Someone else's body part could very well be a moderate boon.
Yeah.
I think Jules was like coming up, and when she heard body part, she'll just kind of veer away from the conversation to go like small talk with maybe Augustine or Martin or someone like that.
Are you heading for Mr. Meeks or Martin?
Mr. Meeks. I'm sorry, I got them confused.
No, you're good. I realize the first names are very similar, so that's why I'm trying to refer to him as
Okay.
Mr. Meeks for you.
The gossip.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
That's-
Mr. Meeks.
Oh, that's Mr. Meeks. Okay. I mean, like.
Mr. Meeks is the Nosferatu.
Okay. Gossip. And
Gabriella is the true gossip, but Mr. Meeks knows the gossip.
Gotcha.
He is the gossip counter source.
I'm just making a note that he's the Nosferatu.
Yes.
She's just
Hank.
she's just
Oh, sorry, go
introduced
ahead.
she's just introducing herself to everyone. Yeah,
Mm.
but it's just more of that when she heard they're talking about body parts, she just kind of veered away to that she was gonna talk to them, but just nope right out there.
Won't join that conversation.
Right, she's just like, yeah, no, because I don't want to know for right now, maybe later. Yeah, okay.
Hank, you see the prince approaching you and Dr. Isaacs as you're conversing with him.
I'm going to step away from Dr. Isaacs and head towards the Prince to meet him halfway.
Okay.
And I
He'll
will offer a
go
hand.
ahead. You offer a hand?
Yeah.
Okay. He'll give you a firm handshake.
Cool.
And he'll motion for you to go ahead and have a seat if you would like.
Yeah, perfect. I'll go and take a seat.
Okay. He'll join you. So, how are you finding it this evening?
Good, thank you. I'm luckier than the rest of my coterie. I've had some excellent tuition from Josephine. So, yeah, all good. Thank you very much.
Indeed, she's definitely one of the city's brightest stars.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to know her. She was kind enough to give me work when I needed it, and I've obviously done well enough that she's brought me into this inner circle.
She has a good eye for people,
Thank you.
especially those that need an opportunity, and she knows will do very well given one.
Well, I'll try to do my best.
I look forward to your best. That being said, I don't need to worry about you as much as the others in placing you with someone. You've got Josephine and you've got direct guidance.
Of course, yeah.
As you said, you've got an advantage on them that they don't necessarily have. But I will be placing you with their coterie.
No, that's great, and always happy to help. And I've talked to Pete and I've talked to the doc, and anything I can do to help them settle in, more than happy to.
I appreciate that. And I appreciate that you and Josephine have been kind of rounding up some of the people that have turned back up after they went missing. It's already a important breakthrough in the situation that's going on in the city, seeing some of these faces here tonight.
Yeah, a couple of people have mentioned that there's a lot of people going missing. I know Pete's looking into that, and he's keen to know what's going on. So I'll help him wherever I can.
I'm gonna have your whole group looking in on the missing people, but only a few of you are working on an additional thing, just because Peter seems to have his connections still with the police force. We're going to utilize those for a little extra work on him, and probably Dr. Isaac's front.
Yeah. Okay. No, let's say anything I can do to help.
I'll let you know if I find something I think that would fit in your wheelhouse in that regard, but this is specifically they're able to get into the offices and the network that's going on there for the local police department. That being said, I still want you and the group to look into it from the exterior perspective as well.
Understood.
I heard a bit about what happened with some of the newer kindred that suddenly came into the city a few nights ago. They had been setting up shop in a nearby area to you and Josephine.
Out of character, were they kindred?
They were.
Ooh, didn't know that.
Well, not the one that you got, but
Right.
let's say the owners.
Right. Okay.
You haven't encountered the owners. That was one of their main people working for him, remember?
Right. Okay.
Because you marked him with their initials. So you're finding out that they're kindred.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to cross any lines, but those guys hurt someone who's a good friend of mine. I was out of town for a little while, and I just wanted to get the message out that said, "You don't hurt mine, or if you do hurt mine, I'm going to come and find you."
Oh no, they haven't presented themselves. They're kindred. I know they're kindred, but they're not acknowledged by the city.
Well, I'd be more than happy to help hunt them down. So, I could talk to the sheriff, but I'd be more than happy to put them out of business.
They, if you catch them, do catch them. Don't do away with them, subdue them.
No, yeah.
But in that instance, consider it they haven't presented themselves. They aren't necessarily following the laws of the city. So feel free to take them in, and when you do, simply let me know. And then going from there, I will pass judgment on them. And if it's you and yours that bring them in, I will let you and yours enact that judgment.
Okay, thank you. I'll keep an eye out for them.
Yes, V, you understood that correctly.
So,
Yes.
Hank's not super aware of something, but is he insinuating diablerie, or
Yes,
he is?
he
Wow.
is.
Okay.
He is
Okay.
simply stating that these people are in flagrant disregard of my city and my rules. Bring them to me. I'll pass the judgment,
Mm.
and then I'll let your group as reward enact the judgment.
Okay.
So basically, they've had opportunity. You're inferring that they've probably had someone already reach out to them. They're
Right.
refusing to join an Elysium meeting and present themselves. So, yeah.
Okay.
But he is not directly stating diablerie.
Right.
But you are picking it up correctly.
Interesting. Okay.
I'm very tolerant of people who want to join my city, but I have no tolerance for people who disrespect it or myself. And they do both.
No, perfectly understand that. As I say, from a personal point of view, it'd be my pleasure to find them, put them out of business, and drag them into you.
Thank you. Seems that the new coterie is not, outside from a few of you, particularly fond of social gatherings. It's not
I
a
think
detriment. It's not a
I
bad
think the
mark
boys
against
are
you.
yeah. I think the boys are action-led boys. I mean, Pete and Frank are men of action. They like to be doing. So, yeah, I guess they just want to be out getting on with it. I kind of feel the same a bit, but I spent years sitting around waiting for trouble as a bouncer. So sometimes just sitting around, ain't a bad thing. But I know Frank is itchy feet, likes to always be on the move, always be doing. So likes building stuff. If you need anything built, you make his day.
In fact, we do. So I might have him quite busy.
Oh, you'd be super happy then. Yeah, he likes to be busy. So I think Jules likes the party. She seems to be mingling.
She does seem like the social type.
And the
Do you
dog's
have
quite being
anything
quite
for
chatty.
me? Doc, Dr. Isaacs is certainly an interesting conversationalist.
Hmm.
I will have to pick his mind a bit further.
Wow, it's a good. He's got a fair mind on him. So happy picking.
Thank you. Do you have anything for me?
No, I don't think so. Thanks for, I don't know if accepting my presentation is the right phrase, but thanks for welcoming me to the city. Thanks for including me in the city. And if you need anything, I'm happy to help.
Kind of chuckles for a moment. You're welcome for the permission to be sired, I suppose. I guess I'll call everyone to heal then. If you'll excuse me.
Thank you for your time.
And he's gonna stand up and he's gonna make his way to where he can make eye contact with all of the coterie.
So as he
But
stands, I'll stand.
yeah. But
And
not
step back. Yeah.
necessarily all of the Primogen. And there are very specific ones who he puts his back to. Horace, who is not moved.
Right.
Martine, who is returned to where she was originally seated. And Josephine. And it doesn't seem like an active disregard for them. You can tell that he's intentionally keeping everyone else in his sights. Maybe those are the ones he's comfortable to have his back.
Okay.
Clearing his throat, he's going to grab the attention of the room, and the music that was coming through the speakers is going to cut. It's just going to slowly fade. Thank you for joining me this evening. If I have spoken with you, we've already made plans, and you are free to leave at your leisure. You may mingle and enjoy the social event further if you have any inclination to do so. Now is a proper time for you to leave, if you were wondering. Deciding to stay will not be held against you, and you are more than welcome. I will say this. You have a daunting task ahead of you. I give you the permission to have at least 3 ghouls to assist you. If you are unfamiliar with the process, speak with those I'm going to set up a meeting with you for, and they will explain. As for this evening, have a good one. I must attend to business outside of Elysium now. I apologize for calling it an early evening, but it has been a pleasure to meet all of you. And welcome to our city.
Is he saying 3 ghouls apiece or 3 ghouls for
Yes.
the coterie? Oh, okay.
No, 3 ghouls apiece.
Okay. Nice.
Fantastic.
So, hey, and technically everybody here is already aware of what that means thanks to the gardener. But, yeah. He gives you permission to have at least 3 because he understands that he has asked a lot of you so far. He knows this is a very far-reaching problem he has you looking into, and some of the aspects are probably going to be dealt with during the day. So he's giving you permission to have at least 3. He's not telling you have to have 3. Alright, and with that, we conclude Elysium. Would anybody like to linger and mingle? Or is everybody just kind of filtering out? I know Frank and probably Peter are gonna step out.
Step.
Stepped.
We'll be fighting each other to see which one of us gets out the door first, I think.
Pub?
Nah, work.
Work. Okay.
Jules make her way and kind of like be like do that mingle out type of thing to take her leave.
Jules, you successfully introduced yourself to everyone present at Elysium. I will say that.
Excellent.
So you meet you meet Gabriella, which you've already spoken with.
Mhm.
You meet Martine, the gangrel Primogen.
Okay.
And Josephine, you mingle with a little bit. Horace Smith, the Malkavian Primogen. Martin Meeks, so Mr. Meeks, the Nosferatu Primogen. Augustine Green, the Harbinger of the Skulls Primogen.
Hat
That's
guy.
present. Hat guy. And then Valentine Lejeune, the Tremere Primogen.
Could you send me those names? I'm sorry, I'm trying to.
Oh, I got you.
Gotcha.
Just a moment, and I will put them in our chat for you.
Alrighty. Oh, the other Primogen that didn't show up didn't matter. We'll kill them first. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Who didn't show up? They were all there, weren't they?
Those that you
Buzinos,
know of.
Arcania, Gangrel, Toreador, Ventru, Nosferatu.
Oh, okay.
Premier, Harbinger of Skulls. I can't think of anyone that's missed. Can you?
Okay, Martine was the in the brew hall. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I was wrong. I thought there was like some that were missing.
Maybe.
Seeing everyone else leave, I'll kind of do the same. As Jules, I'll kind of I want to speak to Mr. Meeks and introduce myself.
Mm.
Horace, introduce myself, and Augustine.
Do either of you have any particular topics you want to cover with them?
No, just merely introduce myself.
Okay.
Mostly, introduce herself and see, just tell them basically that she's here to help, basically.
In that case, Jules, both of you will receive polite greetings from everyone that you introduce yourselves to. Even Martine, the gangrel Primogen, despite her earlier slightly sour conversation with the prince, is polite when you introduce yourselves. She tries to make a good first impression, you can tell. She's a little bit gruff. Like, Jules, she'll give you a very firm handshake, same for Dr. Isaacs, but she's polite. She seems more like a no-nonsense type. Mr. Meeks, again, gives you a very familiar feeling, and he's going to... Jules, when you offer your hand, he will actually kiss the back of your hand. Dr. Isaacs, he will give you a firm handshake. But other than that, he keeps his coat pulled up a little bit taller, his hat down low. You can tell he's trying to be polite about his personal appearance given where they currently are. As the prince leaves, he heads towards the door that the others went through earlier with Josephine, and you hear a muted conversation with the individual on the other side of it. And that individual, if any of you check that door, leaves with the prince. So the sheriff leaves with the prince. I will say this, most of the Primogen seem to kind of linger despite most of you dispersing.
So Hank's gonna get a drink and take a seat, and basically he's watching Jules in the dock, and Josephine. And then as Jules and the dock leave, Hank will follow out.
Okay. Josephine will meet you by the door, noticing that you're headed out.
Mhm.
And she's going to let you know that she's going to remain here at Elysium until it wraps. So she may speak with you at the end of the night. She may not, depending on how long this runs.
No
If
problem.
anything, she will certainly speak to you at the start of tomorrow evening.
Perfect. Okay. I am going back to the club, and I'm just going to sit in the bar and keep an eye on things.
Okay. We're going to go with Dr. Isaacs next. Where is Dr. Isaacs going once Elysium is in his rear view mirror?
I need Jules to take me back to my van. And then once I get in my van,
The not conspicuous at all car.
On the ride over, Jules will relay that the rumor got back to the prince about one of our pack jumping into the Mississippi, and she will convey that she shared that it was Frank.
Well, with how straightforward he was, I'm not surprised if he would be surprised by that answer.
He wasn't.
He was
amused.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jules.
But
Please go ahead.
But yeah, but he knows, so I didn't see a point of just denying it. So, and he wants to see me again.
Yes, he wants to speak with me again in a few nights also.
Oh, excellent. It seems I'm being placed with Gabriella.
I don't know who I'm being placed with. It's not Mr. Lejeune.
It's most likely going to be the prince.
That'll be okay. He seems like a decent man.
I'm sure he does. You know he's really old, right?
That doesn't matter.
Well, just be careful. As she's like pulling up to by the van. Because she was
You as well.
speeding. Oh, I will. Do you want me to meet you anywhere, or are we free to go for the night?
No, I don't need to meet anywhere. Do you have a pen?
In the glove compartment.
I just realized that we don't have we've never done this before. I'm gonna write down the telephone number for my apartment if you need me for anything.
Oh, excellent. Thank you very much. Here's my house phone number as well. And she'll write hers down. There you go.
Very well.
Thank you very much. I'm glad we all survived tonight.
You know, never an issue.
No, never an issue. Do you want me to meet everyone tomorrow night?
I'll give you a call.
Okay.
I'll meet Hank back at the bar and I'll discuss with him.
Alrighty. I'll see you then. Alright, bye. And then she'll wait until you are out of the vehicle and have the door closed, and then she'll drive away going back to her place. Out of character, what time is it?
Probably around midnight at this point. You had a little bit of the evening. It wasn't supposed to start until around 10 or so. A good bit past 10. So casual mingling at least midnight, if not slightly half past.
Okay.
A respectable time to get home for Jules at this point.
True. Oh, well, that's what she'll do. Since the boss man said we're not doing anything else tonight.
Alright, how about Peter and Frank?
Hello.
Nice.
Frank's gonna head back to Hank's place and change into some work clothes, grab his car keys, and then head over to Big Red.
Okay.
We'll go and looking for somewhere we can work.
And what type of area are you looking for in particular?
I want to head east out of the city. Once we're out the city limits, I'm looking for abandoned buildings, warehouses, farm buildings, something that basically is out of town, a distance away from other people and buildings that looks like it might be run down and abandoned.
I mean, just a moment. So, there is a bit to the east that you could go, but most of it outside of the city is going to be bayou, like almost immediately dropping off into bayou.
That's fine.
It's going to be a little bit more difficult to find anything directly east. It heads more towards where the main bridge crossing the lake is, and you know that that is currently under repair because the bus that was originally going to take you home that you missed the night that you got taken fell into the river. Not the river, but it fell into the lake because the bridge broke as it was crossing it. That's why when you first called home, there was a panic.
Okay, if we can't get out that way or that way is difficult, why we could always head out to Outtown West in the direction that we came from.
Yes, you could certainly head west. And you do know that there are several points between New Orleans specific, the outskirts, and Laplace, where you were, that you could probably find an offshoot and find somewhere there.
Basically we're looking for somewhere that's relatively easy for us to get to. We're looking for somewhere that's away from, not like have a bunch of residential places or places where people are going to be nearby it, because if there's noises we don't want to attract attention. And we want somewhere that's going to be run down and abandoned, so we're not going to be bothered by current inhabitants. And if there's current inhabitants in there at the moment, that's why Pete and I are here.
Okay. We will.
I also want to make sure I've got my tools with me in case I need to do an emergency work. But basically I want to set up an office, and by an office I mean interrogation stroke murder suite.
Okay. I imagine that you pick up your tools along with your keys because you know your intentions before you grab Big Red. And we will pick up next time on you scoping out an area on the outskirts of New Orleans.
Hey, thank y'all for listening and watching. Please subscribe or follow us on Twitch. Subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Twitch, and check us out on Spotify and all other podcast stations. All right, bye. Bye, everybody. All right.